Okay, we're gonna get the meeting started now. It is a few minutes after 6 p.m. on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. Thank you for joining us. This is a workshop for proposed development at 3717 Fruit Street. My name is Eric Scher. I'm the Community Development Director. So I'm really here just to introduce the project or the meeting. Just some housekeeping rules. For those of you that are on Zoom participating, there will be several times during this meeting where we'll have an opportunity for questions and answers. And so once that time comes up, if you're interested in asking a question on that topic that was just presented, please use the raise hand function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll call on you in that order. Additionally, if you were unable to register for the Zoom meeting by the 5 o'clock deadline, you can still participate. The way you would do that is to email planning@cityoflaverne.org. Please email your name and phone number, and we will call you at the end of the meeting. So we're gonna have 3 different questions and answers periods, one after city staff's presentation, one after the developer's presentation, and one after the CEQA consultant's presentation. But that last one will answer any outstanding questions. That'll be towards the end of the meeting. So the people that do call, email in with their phone numbers, we will call you at the end so that we can make sure that you've heard all the presentations, because maybe some of your questions were answered during the 3 different presentations. Again, if you're interested in participating via phone, please email your phone number to planning@cityoflaverne.org. Okay, I think that covers our housekeeping. So again, my name is Eric Scher. This is Vanessa Norwood. She's a project planner, and she's the project planner for these projects. She'll be giving you more information about the project in a second. The developer is Brandywine Homes. You'll hear from their representatives after Vanessa's presentation. And then lastly, LSA and Associates is doing the environmental for this project, and their staff will be presenting the CEQA presentation towards the end. So with that, I'm going to go to a screen share so that you can see the PowerPoint presentation. So hold on one second. Okay, I hope that all of you can see that okay. And with that, Vanessa will have her presentation.
Welcome to the workshop for the Brandywine Homes Fruit Street project. My name is Vanessa Norwood. I'm the project planner. After each presentation, time is allotted for brief questions and comments relative to that presentation. At the end of the workshop, we will open it up for all questions and comments on the project, just like Eric said. This project is a proposal for a 50-unit, 3-story townhome development on Fruit Street. This project is proposed on a 2.25-acre property that currently contains a small family-operated nursery and home. The nursery has operated in this location since 1963. This proposal has 50 interlocking 3-story townhomes, an interior recreation area, perimeter parking, and landscape buffers surrounding the project. The project is proposed to be gated, and the driveway on the south side of the project is restricted for emergency access only. Entry into the project is via a left turn pocket from the southbound lane on Fruit Street and a right turn in and right turn out of the project onto Fruit Street. Various city departments, including Public Works, Fire, Police, and Community Development, have reviewed this proposal and worked with the applicant over the past several months on revisions to the project. Staff now feels the project is ready to move forward, which is why we're now conducting neighborhood workshops prior to public hearings that will begin in midsummer. In addition, the city conducted a request for proposals process to secure an independent firm to evaluate environmental impacts in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, as it will be referred to throughout the presentations tonight. LSA Associates, Inc. was selected, and LSA staff are in the process of preparing an initial study and related studies to thoroughly evaluate the project. The CEQA process and timeline will be discussed later in this project by LSA staff. As a component of this project, the applicant proposes to construct 8 affordable single-family homes on vacant city-owned property located at 1874, 1876, and 1878 Walnut Street. Due to the proximity of the two projects, a separate virtual neighborhood workshop will be conducted to present this component of the project to the Walnut Street neighborhood. This workshop will be held on May 25th, and all interested parties may participate. The website noted on this slide provides details regarding this project. Under Community Development, click on Current Projects. The Fruit Street proposal includes 6 entitlement actions: a disposition and development agreement, general plan amendment, specific plan amendment, tentative tract map, and conditional use permit, along with the appropriate environmental documentation, will be reviewed by Planning Commission and City Council. The first, a precise plan review, would be considered by the Development Review Committee to assure that the project meets development requirements contained in the zoning code and design standards as being proposed. A disposition and development agreement has been entered into to ensure development of affordable housing units at the Walnut Street site in conjunction with development of the Fruit Street site. Currently, the city's general plan is undergoing an update that will create a new specific plan designation of specific plan mixed use. This designation would apply to all properties within specific plan zones. In anticipation of this update, the proposed project amendment would designate this project site as specific plan mixed use, consistent with the updated general plan. This then allows the requirements of the specific plan to control how the property is developed. This amendment would also maintain state-required consistency between the general plan and the specific plan. The new land use designation of specific plan mixed use would allow for residential, commercial business park, industrial, community facilities, and open space land uses. As previously stated, the Foothill Boulevard specific plan would be amended to specific plan mixed use and thereby create specific development standards for residential projects. Within the specific plan, a conditional use permit is required for all residential projects. A conditional use permit then allows the ability to tailor requirements for the property, and by doing so assures acceptable and suitable integration of the project into the area through specific conditional requirements that must be met as part of the project's approval. Lastly, a tentative tract map allows subdivision of the 2.25 acre parcel of land to be sold as 50 independent townhome units under condo map provisions. As mentioned earlier, the project's environmental factors are being evaluated in order to determine the appropriate SEQA document for project consideration. This process will be discussed in detail by the LSA staff a little later in this workshop. There will be future opportunities for additional public comment during upcoming public hearings. The Planning Commission is anticipated to hear this matter in July or August, and City Council in late August or September. As documents are finalized, the city's website will be updated with project information and hearing dates. The links to the website are shown on this slide. City staff is here to answer questions relative to the process and timing of this case. As previously mentioned, subsequent to each presentation tonight, there will be opportunity to ask questions and comment on the section presented. We are available at this time to answer questions, but before that happens, the current owner of the property is in on the meeting and would like to speak at this time.
I'm going to stop the share real fast, and we are going to bring in the owner, Kathy Kalusik, to speak at this time. Well, I bring Kathy in. It's not a large group, so there are no time limits on how long we ask you to talk, but please try to not repeat other questions or comments, but we'll work with you to try to make sure we are able to answer all of your questions during this workshop tonight. Kathy, if you're there, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. And I'm actually not the owner. My father, Vern Kalusek, is the owner, but my name is Kathy Kalusek. I'm a lifetime resident and I live on 3rd Street in Laverne. I'm the youngest of Vern Kalusek's 5 children. I'm also a realtor with Coldwell Banker with over 30 years of experience in the real estate field. So I'm representing him as his agent in the sale of the property. My family has a long history in Laverne and I could go on for hours, but I will keep this as brief as possible. My father has been working this land since 1948 after my grandparents bought it, and it was an orange grove, and he's loved it. But time and age can be cruel. In 2014, my father suffered a major heart attack, which required a quadruple bypass and a long recovery. He did recover, but that slowed him down some. Then in 2015, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She did chemo, which helped to extend her life, and they were able to celebrate their 60th wedding anniversary. And we got to enjoy one more Christmas. But in February 2016, she lost her battle and we lost her. So we were all heartbroken. But my father, most of all, he went back to work again, but this slowed him down a little more. Then in 2019, he fell and he broke his hip. This led to surgery and another difficult recovery. He told my husband, I wasn't old until I broke my hip. Right, he's back working, but he can only work for short periods of time, and then he has to take a break. Just imagine the frustration of knowing that so much needs to be done, wanting to do it, but your body won't cooperate. So we had a family meeting where my father said that he really wanted to sell the property and retire and no longer be burdened by the maintenance that's required on a large property. After working hard for over 80 years, I think he's earned it. My siblings all agreed. In November of 2019, I spoke to Eric to discuss the possibilities for the property since it's zoned as commercial office. We discussed the fact that there are fewer brick and mortar type developments being built, talked about how Kohl's was downsizing. We also discussed the new state mandates that cities build more housing, and he felt that a residential development would be feasible. I listed the property for sale in March of 2020 and received 6 written offers, several informal offers by phone or through email, and had many conversations with potential buyers. With the exception of 2 that had an interest in doing commercial developments, all the others were looking to do residential developments. Brandywine Homes gave us the strongest offer, so it was accepted in June 2020, and they have been great to work with. I think this project will be a great asset to the city. As a realtor, I know there's a lack of homes available for sale in our city in a price range that younger people and families can afford. I checked today, there are 21 houses available for sale, 1 for $550,000, that's 846 square feet. There's 1 for $699,950, 6 between $715 to $799, 1 for $849, 5 for $903 to $988, 4 over $1 million, and 2 over $2 million. So not a lot of opportunity for people to buy in this city. If you're paying attention to what the President of the United States is proposing, he's looking to create more affordable housing. I'm looking at an expert from his the American Jobs Plan and what his intentions are. Biden takes aim at exclusionary, sorry about that, zoning laws and harmful land use policies, such as minimum lot sizes, mandatory parking requirements, and prohibitions on multifamily housing, arguing that they've inflated housing and construction costs and locked families out of areas with greater opportunities. So even the president is working on taking this control from our local cities and changing things up. It's very possible if he gets the bill passed through that in a few years, a developer may be able to build a high rise there with, tons and tons of units, and the city won't be able to do anything about it. So this development is a small 50 unit development. It's unlikely to increase traffic much more than's already there. Think about how often you actually leave your home. We're not going to have 50 households all converging onto Fruit Street at once. There'd be a far greater impact on traffic if a commercial property was built there. Our city will also reap the benefits of property taxes from 50 units and more people to patronize our shops and restaurants for increased sales tax revenue. So I'm hoping that the citizens of La Vergne will embrace this project and that we'll be able to move forward with this quickly so my father can move on and enjoy the next chapter of his life. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, now we're going to be bringing in the applicants with Brandywine. Hi, Alex. Hi, Angela. I'm bringing in David. And I would just want to make sure those are the three that you have on your team for this presentation, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you are going to be screen sharing your own, but if you want to do your self introductions first before we begin.
Sure. I'm Alex Hernandez, president of Brandywine Homes. Also on the call, Angela Mayer, our project manager, and David Barisic, who's one of the principals and owners of the company. I wasn't quite sure if you were going to show the video that we had prepared first as part of the presentation. And then I can maybe add questions and answers to that.
Sounds good. I can bring that up. Hold on one second. All right, 1 second, almost there. Technology, right? You guys can see that now,
Yes.
correct? Alex, you can see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
My name is Dave Barisic. I am one of the principals at Brandywine Homes. I primarily focus my time on market research, product development, and sales and marketing. Brandywine Homes started in 1994 by my dad, Jim Barisic, who's still actively involved in the company. It was started as primarily a company to develop and build infill tract home communities in Southern California, primarily LA and Orange County.
Hi, I'm Alex Hernandez, the president of Brandywine Homes. Oversee the residential construction and development for all of our communities in Southern California. We're excited to introduce the new community we're calling Verdana. It is going to be a community located in the city of Laverne, and we are having two locations. Actually, it's a public-private partnership with the city of Laverne. First location is on Loop Street, location of an existing old nursery, and we are looking to recycle and renovate that property into 50 new townhomes. The other piece is located on Walnut Avenue, city-owned property, currently vacant, been vacant for quite some time. We are going to be proposing new single-family homes that will all be restricted to affordable families, so providing a new great opportunity for new home ownership for affordable families. Laverne is a ideal target for new development. Great schools, great locations, and freeway access. Both of our locations are close to shopping, a lot of conveniences. That's what our buyers are looking for. New construction versus existing resale homes have a lot of benefits from the new home. The new home is all energy efficient, comes with all the new bells and whistles to make living easier and more convenient. All of our units have two-car garages, their own private open space, self-contained. Project Park Group is gated, sense of security, sense of community. Just having development benefits the city, its local residents in multiple ways.
Brandywine builds for the next generation in a couple of different ways. First, we always try to aim for more moderately priced housing, which is definitely good for the next generation, especially in Southern California. We try to gear our product types towards what the next generation wants in homes. So the last year specifically with COVID, people have really done a lot of working from home. So we revamped all of our product, made sure we were able to supply them with places to work at their homes. That's not just at a kitchen island, an actual workspace in the homes. But we're also very focused on things like energy efficiency, solar power, giving people the ability to charge their electric cars at home, things that the next generation really looks for at home. What makes Brandywine Homes stand out amongst other home builders is the fact that we're family owned and operated. We really take pride in what we do. Our name is attached to it. So the homeowner experience from the sales process to the warranty process to the next 10 years of living in your home, we really want that to be special. We want it to be stress-free. And that, I think, is what sets us apart. They're new members of our family.
Initially, with the new jobs that we bring to the city, revenue that people will be buying and shopping in those retail locations that are nearby, providing new students for the schools that are coming in, new families that will be part of that community. Long term, we're helping the city meet its housing needs. Every city in the state of California is required to provide new housing, and we're helping them hit 2 milestones with this, from the market rate as well as the affordable.
Okay, hopefully everybody saw that okay. So with that, you're ready for questions and answers, Alex, or did you have anything else to say?
I think really the only thing I would add to it for the audience is that to pick up on Kathy's point on the affordability of this community, we're proposing that the townhomes would be priced probably in the high 5s and the 6s from a price point. And that's today. I mean, obviously we'll set pricing at the time we come to sale. The affordable units would be restricted, and we're anticipating those to be in the low 400s and would be sold specifically to income qualified buyers. So that kind of addresses and highlights Kathy's point about affordability and providing new homes to young families and possibly move down buyers as well. The only other highlight I would make is that wasn't picked up on the mix. We're proposing a mixture of 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom townhomes on the Fruit Street site, and then the single family homes would be 3-bedroom units on Walnut. There'll also be a public art piece that will be incorporated into the project at the entry. We still have yet to design that, but it will be working with staff closely to incorporate that and in our design. Architecturally, you've seen the kind of a Spanish Mediterranean look with landscaping. We try to enhance both the common area as well as the private. Each unit has designated private areas, both in balconies or some on patios. So quite a unique and nice place to live. Adjacencies to the high school, close proximity to shopping, and great city of Laverne. So we look forward to the opportunity, and I'm open to answer any questions.
Thank you. And I'll apologize to the group. I let Ms. Kalusic speak, and then I just zoomed on right to you guys and didn't have a question and answer period before that. But I hadn't seen any raised hands. So those participating via Zoom, if you'd like to ask a question at this point, please use the raise hand function on the bottom of your screen. Anybody that's watching on the YouTube live stream, again, if you're interested in participating, please email your phone number to planning@cityoflaverne.org, and we will call you at the end of the meeting if you have questions. So I do have one hand raised, so I will bring this resident in. Hold on 1 second. Hi, Ms. Geddes, you're on the call.
Yes, hi. I just have a question about the entrance. Currently, the pocket goes into the adjacent shopping center. So will that meridian be shortened? And then for residents exiting the complex, I'm wondering if they want to go southbound, they will not be able to turn south out of the complex. They would need to go north, probably go on Amherst, then probably Bradford to get down to Foothill, to then traverse southward. So I'm just curious what thought is in that as far as entrance and exit and what that does to the surrounding streets, the adjoining streets.
I can address that. With regards to the existing median, I think staff, when they made their presentation, showed you the new configuration. We definitely will be modifying the existing median to provide a entry southbound. They can go directly at the left-hand turn into the community. For those residents who'll be living here, you're right, they can't go directly south. They'll have to go first north and then make a U-turn at the entrance. There's a turnaround lane I believe at the entry of the mobile home park. So they will be able to make that turn there, make a U-turn legally, and not have to go down any of the Amherst or any other streets to get down to the main commercial area. So we've provided circulation in a way that should not impact the neighbors whatsoever.
Can I speak? Am I on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Still, that could pose to be problematic, making the U-turn on Foothill, which is highly traversed. Or if they wanted to just go east, it will definitely cause traffic. There's 50 units there. And if you're going to have U-turns or people cutting through, that's definitely a viable traffic problem.
Ms. Geddes, there will be further discussion on the traffic analysis that will be done as part of this project by the LSA consultant. So there will be more discussion on that later tonight.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. 1 second. And I do have another question with the raised hand, so please bear with me. Hi, Ms. Galadon.
Hi, guys. I'm going to hold off on my traffic questions until I hear what LSA has to say. But I am going to ask everybody right now, you must include into your noticing everybody on Amherst from the Amherst and Fruit intersection, those two cul-de-sacs, at least halfway down the block, and also to include Kimberly, because this is a very active neighborhood. We have even though the city doesn't completely agree, as we've recently learned, we do have a significant traffic problems on Amherst, and that corner of Amherst and Fruit, there is no way you're going to use that for U-turns. You're going to have an accident a day there. But if LSA is going to be in here later to do a presentation, I'll wait until after that and I'll ask questions. And I will let the owners know that I'm actually civil engineer. I do EIR work. I understand what you guys are talking about here. And currently Amherst already has another development coming in on the other end of the street, which is already going to impact us. And this entire neighborhood of 200 people are very, very concerned about your project. But I will bring up the specific questions later if LSA is going to be presenting.
Okay, well, I'll move you back to an attendee at this time then.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have any other raised hands at this point, and there are no emails received. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring in LSA. I'm gonna bring Brandywine back to attendees for a second, just so there's less people on the screen. So hold on, everybody, please. Now I'll bring in the LSA team.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
We can, idea.
Hi, my name is Dionisios Glendis. I go by Dio. I'm a senior environmental planner with LSA. Along with me, we have our transportation team, Ambarish Mukherjee, who's principal at LSA, and Debmalia Sinha, who is a transportation engineer with us to answer any questions. So to begin, this project is subject to the California Environmental Quality Act. Both sites, we're going to analyze them together as one project on separate sites. And in conjunction with that, the project requires a general plan amendment, specific plan amendments for both sites, and initial study to determine what type of potential impacts the project could have and would be subject to mitigation or project design features in order to reduce those impacts to specific thresholds in accordance with CEQA. Today's workshop is an opportunity to gather public input. In addition to today's workshop, there will be other opportunities at Planning Commission and City Council, as well as when the document gets circulated for public review in the next sometime in, I believe, June or July. Let me share my screen here. Bear with me while I try to figure this out. I still see my face. Let's see. Does anybody have any advice as to how I can get this thing to?
Dio, I'm prepared to run it for you if you'd like.
Okay, go ahead. It's, yeah, if you're able to. Apologize for that. Great. So I basically just reiterated this slide here, and go ahead and go to the next slide. So the initial study is going to be supported by specific technical studies that we are preparing in-house, including biological resources and a tree evaluation, cultural resources and historic architecture. There is a building on site that was constructed in 1903, and we will be evaluating that for eligibility under the California Register of Historical Resources criteria. In addition, we're going to be conducting a noise and vibration assessment, transportation study specific to the Fruit Street site, and a vehicle miles traveled assessment for both project sites, and an air quality, greenhouse gas, and energy modeling analysis. Next slide, please. The biological assessment includes a habitat assessment with a literature review, pedestrian survey and report, and an arborist evaluation to determine if there's any significant trees on site, and to what extent they need to be protected or replaced in accordance with the municipal code. Next slide. The cultural resources assessment in historic architecture includes a field survey, record search and report. And like I said, the historic era farmhouse on the Fruit Street site was constructed in 1903, and therefore it needs to be evaluated for significance under secret criteria. Next slide. The noise and vibration assessment takes into account the sensitive receptors in proximity to the project sites. For Fruit Street, we have apartments adjacent to the east of the site, and then the Lutheran High School adjacent to the north. Also across the street is the mobile home park to the west of Fruit Street. For Walnut Street, there's residential uses adjacent to the east and to across Walnut Street to the north, as well as a park, Lordsburg Park, which is across Live Oak Wash to the west. I'm sorry, to the east. And we would be analyzing construction noise and vibration as well as operational noise and vibration for both project sites. Next slide. The transportation study. We've done some trip generation calculations, and under the city's transportation guidelines, neither site is anticipated to generate enough traffic to require a transportation analysis. However, there's a worst case scenario, and to make sure we address some of the locals' concerns, we're conducting a transportation study specific to the Fruit Street site, just to check for level of service, to make sure that all of the intersections in addition to the project, with the project versus without the project, would continue to operate at satisfactory levels. We're also conducting a vehicle miles traveled assessment in accordance with CEQA to ensure that the project would comply with the requirements thereof. And in this case, we anticipate that the project would screen out of a vehicle miles traveled assessment because for Fruit Street site, we are in a proximity to Foothill Boulevard, which is considered a high quality transit corridor. And for the Walnut Street site, because of the affordable housing component. Next slide. Their quality greenhouse gas and energy modeling assessment, like similar to the noise assessment, takes into account the sensitive receptors in proximity to the site and evaluates the project as to how it would potentially affect those sensitive receptors from construction and operation of the project, specifically with criteria pollutants. The greenhouse gas assessment, of course, takes into account greenhouse gas emissions. It's in based on SAQMD, South Quality Air Quality Management District guidelines. And the anticipated energy demand for the project would be evaluated in accordance with Title 24 and CEQA. So those were the technical studies that will be prepared by LSA in-house. In addition to those, LSA would be incorporating other technical studies prepared by the applicants, other consultants, including the geotechnical, the phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments for both sites, infiltration testing, and then low impact development best management practices, also known as the Standards Urban Stormwater Mitigation Plan, hydrology studies, so to speak. And in addition to those, we would be utilizing the city's general plan, of course, the 2 specific plans, the Foothill Boulevard specific plan for Fruit Street and Walnut specific plan for Walnut Street site to make sure that the project, to identify any potential impacts the project would have from a physical and environmental standpoint, as well as land use. Next slide. So in the CEQA process, we are where the red circle is, the public workshop. We're in the process of preparing the initial study. We're going to take into account the public's comments here today to focus the analysis to make sure that we address those comments as required under CEQA. We would prepare mitigation measures and or project design features to address the potential impacts that we identify. And we will circulate the document for 20 days public review, which would provide another opportunity for public input. These yellow squares or rectangles are where you identify opportunity for public to provide their comments. And the last slide is the schedule. We are at the public workshop phase, in addition to preparing the initial study, which is ongoing. And sometime late June, we'll start the public review, end it 20 days later in mid-July. We will respond to public comments and hold planning commission hearing late July, early August, and city council mid-August, early September. So those are the opportunities for public comment. We have again on the call Ambarish Mukherjee and Debmalia Sinha from LSA, who are our transportation engineers, who would be able to address any questions we have from the public.
Thank you, Dio. So again, members that are participating via Zoom, if you'd like to speak at this time or have any questions, this is also the last opportunity for public comment. We're nearing the end of the meeting. So anybody else not on Zoom that's watching live on YouTube, please email your phone number into planning@cityoflaverne.org and we will call you on the phone. So we do have one raised hand by Ms. Gavaldon, so I will bring her into the room. Hello again.
Hey there. I'm just writing down people's names here really quick. Is this PowerPoint that you guys just presented, is it going to be available online?
Yes, so this video itself that we're recording will be on the city's page dedicated to this project. Again, cityoflaverne.org/fruit development is this project site. Walnut development is the Walnut Street project. This video, the PowerPoint presentations, and the plans will all be uploaded hopefully tomorrow.
Okay, because I've got people asking me that. So for the traffic guys, so a couple of questions, and I've already heard that the actual traffic analysis in the study actually hasn't been started yet. But just a FYI, the Fruit and Amherst intersection is already at an F. We actually have significant problems on Amherst. We've got speeding, we're having volume increases. And then at that particular intersection between the in and out for us, and then for the senior citizens that come out of the a mobile home development, we've got a lot of problems right there. The speed north to south is through the roof. We already have double signals up the street. And it's just every single day everybody cringes. But I also want you guys to know that at the other end of Amherst, we actually have another 42 project residential development coming in. And that project's EIR actually did not consider this project. The people of Amherst, since we are going to be the only way for people to get back down to Foothill, because making a U-turn at that point is gonna be next to impossible. I just have to tell you, this fruit is the only way in and out of the city of Laverne for this part of Laverne. Target is down the street. We have some other major shopping centers right there, and a lot of people use this. There's also a 600 unit apartment building, which is being built down on Gary and Bonita. And those people's access to the 210 freeway is going to be Fruit Street. And none of this was ever considered in the past EIR. So the people of Amherst, we are, to actually reuse the word significantly concerned, doesn't even justify it. In the previous project, we got 200 signatures from our neighborhood just to try to wake people up and get a better traffic analysis done of Amherst in our neighborhood. And we're gonna be watching this very, very carefully. We all know Vern. Most of us bought our grass and our plants from Vern over the years. It's nothing to do with them, but the impacts and the degradation to those of us who live on Amherst is going to be significant. And I also want you to know that on the east end of Amherst, there's a street called Williams, and you have to make a left on Smith. It is a one-way street. I mean, it's a single lane street. It isn't one way, it's a single lane street. That's never been included in any of our analysis. And then everybody seems to use Williams as the other point, and Williams is even an LOSF too. So I don't know, I'm just, this is the first opportunity to be able to speak up. Many of us are going to be watching and asking questions about that. The other things that you guys need to know is that the school, which is next door, even though right now it's kind of a low traffic area right now, when that school's in session, we have a lot of stacking on the street and there's a lot of people parking on Amherst. The other thing, there's also a Mormon church on Amherst, and that has yet to be included in any of the traffic analysis, but they have every morning school there for whatever they do. It's a Mormon church. I don't know exactly what they do, but they've got it every morning. And then they've got, of course, on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, they've got like 6 different services or something like that. That intersection, Fruit and Amherst, needs to be very, very carefully looked at. And you guys will be scrutinized by the people of Amherst. I cannot say that. I cannot say that enough. We're very, very concerned. And I live right here at the stop sign on Amherst and Guava. And I don't know, today I just went outside to walk my grandson to the car and 6 people went right through the stop sign just like that. So I don't know, good luck. That's the one thing I can say. The rest of it, I don't think there's gonna be any other problems with the rest of your analyses, to be honest with you. I'm actually a civil engineer. I've done EIRs for 30 years. I used to do geotech for a living. I get all that stuff. But the traffic's going to be an issue, very big issue. So as long as you guys are going to have this all included on the video, and if you guys can have your PowerPoint included online too, because we have people in the neighborhood who do not do online work very well, and I have to print everything for them so they can see it. So, and then again, I'm going to ask the city and to the consultant, you need to notify those of us who are on Amherst, at least halfway east down the street, and the 2 cul-de-sacs here on the other side of the high school. Because right now we're outside of your 300 or 500 zone or whatever that number you guys are using right now. So
we did, just real quick, we did expand the radius more than what's required, and you were on the list. You should have received a letter in the mail.
So I did, but quite a few of our neighbors never got it. And then we went and walked over to what was that street called? Not Oakland, it's Oak Leaf, and then the Hartshorn Ranch. And people in there said that they didn't get them.
They did receive the mails as well. They were all on the list.
Okay, I'll ask them again, but we talked about 8 of them, probably 5 and 3 between the streets. And they said, I asked them if they got it the same day we got it in the mail, and they said they never got them.
So we did extend the noticing as appropriate. So I will let you know that.
Okay, I'll follow up with them then. I'll have them send you a letter or an email.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody that's watching this that would like to be on a direct mail list, all you need to do is email us, email planning@cityoflaverne.org. You can also email Vanessa directly. Her email was on the agenda and the noticing that was sent out, and all will be on the website, cityoflaverne.org/fruit development. You'll have that contact information. If you make contact with us, you'll be added to the direct mailing list no matter where you live.
Okay, and something else the traffic guys need to know is that once a year for about 6 weeks, we are the gateway to the fairgrounds. And Fruit Street is packed. So that's just something else to think about too. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is Ambrish here. I'm a principal at LSA, and thank you, Cynthia, for your comments. It's better to talk about these upfront rather than you finish the study and then realize there are a host of problems going on in that area. So thank you, and really appreciate you raising these issues in front of us. I would like to add that you have a great staff at the city, and the city has been working diligently and helping us, address these issues. We are still, like Dio mentioned, we are still preparing the study. It has not been completed yet. There will be recommendations made in the study regarding what improvements will be appropriate along that corridor, taking into consideration all these issues that you just mentioned. But just so far where we are, we did realize and made a few recommendations, in consultation with city staff already. One of them being median modification on Fruit Street and how that will work out. And you will see, drawings included in the study. By the way, I'm also a registered civil engineer in the state, so I know, Cynthia, exactly what you were talking about. And so you will see that drawing included as part of the traffic study. One other thing that we are looking at, first of all, the trip generation, this is just 50 condos. The trip generation comes out to roughly 300 plus daily trips, out of which only 28 trips are there in the PM peak and 23 in the AM peak. So out of those 28 trips, it's 30% of those are going to go south, which is like 9 trips that are going to go south. If all those 9 trips get into that neighborhood, and that's in plus out, so the in out of those 9 is not even going to make that U-turn. It's just out, right? That's what we are talking about. So that out is like 6 trips. And so those 6 trips, like 10 trips and like 1 trip in every 10 minutes, that is going to make that right turn through the neighborhood, and that's what we are talking about here. But in our study, we are looking at both options, and we are looking at the U-turn perspective as well. And there has been some discussion. Nothing is finalized, but I'm just letting you know there has been some discussions about adding additional control at that intersection. Not only to manage Fruit Street traffic, but also to manage the school traffic. So there is a potential of a signal there. So once a signal goes in, there is no chance of U-turns running into through traffic going south, because that U-turn is going to be under a protected phasing. So I'm getting a little technical here, but just because you raised these questions, I'm trying to explain you, because I know not everyone will understand what a protected phasing is and what a signal timing is. So, but anyways, like I said, the study is in a very early stage. We are looking into these issues, and I appreciate you raising this concern upfront, so that when we do the study, we address all these concerns that you have. Not just you, all the residents have. One other quick note I would like to say is, because of the pandemic, we are using counts that are from before all the shutdown happened. So those counts do include operation of Lutheran High School at full capacity. Whatever other schools were operating at full capacity, those are taken into consideration in the count. So these are all pre-COVID counts that we are using, and to be more conservative, we are applying a growth to it, assuming that there would have been a natural growth happening to those counts just over the 2-3 year period since the last count was taken. So I'm sharing all this upfront, but all of these information will be in the study for you all to read through and see what the findings are and what the recommendations are. So for now, that's all that I have for now.
And Ms. Kavanaugh has actually raised her hand again, so I'm gonna bring her back in.
And just really quick question. Where did you guys get these earlier accounts? Because there's a 2011 traffic study that's been floating around that's now been used for 2 projects. And there are some, and we've been bringing this up to everybody for, well, actually since 2011, we've been bringing this up. So that's for about 10 and a half years now, that there are flaws in it. And if that's the baseline one that you're using, just like what just happened to us on the other Amherst project, that really needs to be looked at. There are no cumulative numbers in that. And I have to, and then I also have to really disagree about your statement about the right turn. As somebody who exits out Amherst, even during COVID 3 or 4 times a day to try to get out there at Fruit, there's going to be way more than 9 to 6 people making a right turn on Amherst. Making a left turn there is going to be next to impossible. The speeds are too high. That and the fact that Amherst is the only west-east exit out of this part of the city. The street above us, Bowdoin, is actually blocked off on the east end. And we are the only way in and out. We're it. And so I don't know, I'm very concerned about what's going to happen to this. To actually think that the people in those 50 different townhomes are going to make a U-turn to go back down to Target and to Vons and everything versus, which can sometimes it takes us 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes sometimes to get out on Fruit. For them not to go all the way around and then just go down Bradford and then they can jump right over to Target. That's what they're all going to end up doing. That's just the reality of life. We follow people in this neighborhood. We see what they're doing. And so I would just really consider that. And hopefully when the drafts come out, and I don't know if you guys are going to publish your draft traffic or if it's just going to be the final with the draft DIR. Hopefully the comments are actually considered seriously, because honestly, with our neighborhood and the past project, so many of these concerns are really getting ignored. And we have, 168 cars coming in down there. Is it going to be 2 cars per unit at this site? Is it 2 cars or 3 cars?
So, because you have experience in this field, you already know that these trip generation comes from rates that are in a manual, and they are based on surveys that are done. And so using these rates is actually 28 peak hour trips in the PM and 23 peak hour trips in the AM. It doesn't matter how many cars.
So you guys aren't going to do a new count on Fruit or that end of Amherst or anything like that? You're just going to use the ITS manual?
This is the project traffic I'm talking about. Other than that, for the background traffic without the project, those are based on both historical counts and recent counts. We are doing a comparison to see and consider the highest. We also checked with Lutheran High School. They're also aware of this project. Lutheran High School, by the way, is back to 80% capacity right now when we took the count. They shared that information with us. So the Lutheran High School traffic is on Fruit Street right now as we speak. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. You'll take a look at these but I keep on saying this. We also saw Fruit and Amherst right now at LOSF. Just very preliminary numbers. Like I said, we haven't finished the study yet. But that is why that intersection is being considered to be future signalization, which is not yet confirmed, but there is a potential for that to happen. And what I'm saying is if a signal goes in, then making the U-turn will not be an issue because if the left turn will have protection from the signal. So the southbound through traffic, they don't have to cut into the southbound through traffic to make that U-turn. They can just make the U-turn straight on Fruit Street while the southbound traffic is stopped through the signal. So that's one of the potential solutions for that intersection. And knowing the fact that, once we get back, we are almost getting back to pre-COVID times. The school is almost open, full capacity. Next, I guess by fall, all schools will be back open. So yeah, I mean, that's something to consider, definitely.
Are you guys going to include the other Amherst project in your analysis?
We have received the cumulative project list from the city. I need to check and see what all projects are in there, but whatever the city has provided us, we are going to include all of those projects in our study, as long as they affect the study area. I mean, if
Amberish Amherst is included in it, and so is the large 600 unit project in Pomona. They're both included in the cumulative project list.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Thank you for confirming.
Okay, are you guys going, how many units, how many vehicles per unit are planned?
It's going to be 2-car garages. And the amount of guest parking is going to be the minimum that's going to be allowed by the municipal code, and not a single spot more than that.
And I know how that goes. Rest of it has to be for the LID design.
It's important in order for the project to screen out of the VMT, vehicle miles traveled impact in proximity to the high quality transit corridor. That's one of the conditions that SCAG is imposing, or the city's transportation guidelines.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get some of those questions answered. Thank you.
Yeah, and I really appreciate your question, Cynthia. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anybody else's hand up at this time. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Again, visit the product's website, cityoflaverne.org/fruit development. Walnut development will be the other page for that project. That workshop, as Vanessa said, is next Tuesday, the 25th at 6 p.m. Same format, same people will be joining us at that meeting. We'll be talking more about the Walnut Street project then. So please email us with any questions. Next steps. So as Dio mentioned, that we will be posting the draft initial study and M&D on the website once that's available for public review. Dio, when did you say you expect that to be available?
I believe that's going to be, one second here.
End of June, right?
Late June, yeah, end of late June.
So that'll really be the next step. So just keep watching that page. If you want to sign up to be mailed, you can do that. Give us your email. We'll send you an email and a physical version. We're not trying to hide anything from anybody. We want to include everybody that's interested in this project. So with that, thank you everybody for participating, and we'll talk soon.